Welcome back, everyone. Starting today, San Diego is hosting the 2022 Donate Life Transplant Games of America. To kick it off, Rady Children's Hospital is hosting a parade tomorrow. CBS 8 will be carrying that on all digital platforms. And here to discuss more is the president of the Transplant Life Foundation, Bill Ryan, and heart transplant recipient Vang He, who is competing in the games. Both of you, thank you for being with us this morning. A lot of excitement leading up to what's going to be taking place this weekend.
That's right. Good morning.
Good morning. Vang, good morning. Bill, I want to start with you. Okay. For people who are watching and curious what the Transplant Games are, what your organization is, give us a little bit of a preview of what's to come this weekend.
Okay, well, the Games have been around for 32 years, and they're held every 2 years in different cities around the country. The idea is to promote organ, eye, and tissue donation. We'll get upwards of 7,000 to 8,000 people here in San Diego over the next 5 days to compete in 20 sports and participated 50 special events.
Yeah, we're looking at some of the video there of just the crowd that gets drawn for these games. Vang, you are a recipient of an organ. Tell us about your story.
Yes, so about 16 years ago, I thought I was a perfectly healthy person, but then had a stroke, and then I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. And that's basically where my heart had grown so large that it couldn't pump blood to the rest of my body. And then they told me, well, basically, you're going to need a new heart.
And that was when you were 28, right?
Correct.
That stroke happened?
And I had just gotten married a few months before. So my life was just getting started. And now I'm looking at it going, well, where does that leave me? Am I going to even be around long enough to start a family?
Right.
You know, and so forth. Well, fast forward 14 years, I have a beautiful family, but I lived with heart failure for that whole time. And then on the night that we locked down the country for COVID in 2020, something was wrong. I called an ambulance, and I woke up 4 days later at UC San Diego.
Wow.
And then that was when they said, you need a new heart.
I mean, that must have been terrifying.
Oh, utterly. Like, you know, because on top of the pandemic happening, then it was like, no, you need to go through this major medical operation.
Right.
And you got to do it now, because, you know, or otherwise you're out of time.
Wow.
And so I was lucky because 2 months later, I got a new heart. And then for some people, a transplant is a second chance at life. Mm-hmm. For me, it really was the first chance at life.
Yeah.
Because up until then, my life has been very muted because of the limitations that my heart failure placed on me.
And Bill, I was reading on your guys' website, those transplants are taking place at a record pace now, but there's still an overwhelming wait list for those organs, right?
There are. There's 106,000 people in the United States today waiting for a life-saving organ. And 17 to 18 people die every day waiting for an organ that's not available.
So for people who are coming out this weekend, I mean, what is the emphasis that you're placing on this weekend?
Well, you know, we want to encourage people to come out. Living donation is becoming a bigger and bigger thing where you can give a kidney or part of a liver. You know, we want people to see that transplantation is a medical miracle, you know, and so we're here, you know, we're here with our partners, you know, Rady Children's Hospital, the Sharp Medical, UCSD Health, you know, they're all here. Our big sponsor is CareDx, but they're all medical people. They're all doing awesome work to try to make a difference, and hopefully that 106,000 number will go down in the future.
And I guess a good way to get people to understand the need is by bringing some fun into it. You've got sports, you've got big events, this parade that launches everything off at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Tell us about the parade.
Well, the parade is this is the first time we're doing a parade.
Oh, cool. Okay.
You know, so we thought San Diego was a great place to start.
Especially on Harbor Drive at the waterfront.
It's beautiful, and everybody is so excited. We got 37 teams from around the country that are coming in, 3 international teams that are here. We're all going to march in the parade, and we're going to have a great time.
Yeah, and you can live stream it. You got on your screen here information on how to live stream. Vang, you are participating in the game. So tell us about, I mean, you were saying earlier how this really has been such a transformation. Before your procedure, you weren't able to really be an athlete. Now, we had pictures of you and videos of you riding bikes. I mean, what's that change been like?
Oh, it has been a night and day difference. So I went from being can't ride, can't run, to I got dreams of completing a full Ironman.
Wow.
You know, 100 miles bike ride. Marathon, basically 26 miles on top of that, and then, you know, 2 mile swim.
I feel like it puts to rest the myth that transplant recipients have to be maybe super fragile with their activities. I mean, like you said, this is a new life for you, right?
Yeah, correct. So that was actually the biggest thing I didn't know too prior to transplant, because I had the same image that, yeah, after transplant, you're barely surviving. You're just kind of in maintenance mode to keep going. But it's actually the complete opposite. Like my life since transplant has been so much more full and complete, because now I swim, I bike, I run. You know, I do that 5-6 days a week. You know, whereas before couldn't. And now that means I can also do other things. I can go hiking, I can go fishing with my son, I can do all these other things that before was just not an option because of the very real risk that something bad could happen.
Only a few seconds left before we go. What are you most excited about for this weekend?
Oh, I'm most excited about meeting other people like me, because you know it's always good to have your tribe, and it's also to get inspiration and to find inspiration.
And really quickly, Bill, where can people go for more information?
The TransplantAgencyOfAmerica.org.
Wow, a lot going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Bill, Bang, amazing stories that you have to share.